So it's good. There we go.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, balls.
Can I get
You're
a strike
welcome,
here?
Jimmy.
Can I get a strike here?
Yeah.
You know the movie reference there? Deuce Bigelow.
Hey,
The
did
woman
y'all
with the woman with Tourette's that just yells out balls.
did y'all hear that, by the way?
Oh, I heard it.
Nice.
I heard it.
All right. Oh, do we have people here?
All 6.
Oh, okay. So we do have people. It's just like, yeah, just now seeing comments. Okay. Well, they might have missed the best part. Goodness.
Now you got me. So before we started, we were talking about the Mevco trucks.
Yeah.
Trying to decide if I think they have a solid. I think Jimmy's right. I think it's got a solid roof on it.
I think it does, man.
Pull up pictures. That, I mean, what I said, I guess, before we were live was that, you know, they could wrap over the glass, but I think you'd be able to see the seam at the front, kind of the windshield side of the front of the glass. So I want to see pictures. I have not analyzed this.
What do you think here? Look at right here. Why can't it zoom?
Blow it up.
I'm trying. Like it's not letting me. There we go.
Enhance.
What about download the image? Right click, download it, blow it up.
This is like Auto Evolution. They like to steal photos from places. Let's see if it lets me. Oh nope, it's going to click on full screen. Tell us to. Nope, did not get any better. Wait, still no better. I see the roof, like the rails here.
But you're gonna see that. I mean, that's a given because you need to have the crossbars.
I either see a reflection or a seam.
Go to the top down view that I had in the video.
Yeah. Oh, here it is.
You posted that one.
I think Darren posted that one. I think.
Or maybe Darren did. You're right, Darren. I apologize. Correct.
Oh well,
Darren posted.
Darren and Zach are both saying solid roof. Now, solid cover or solid color roof, or there's no glass under that wrap.
Okay, let me share another screen. Hold on. I've got a decent quality image here.
Darren did a snippet of it. Solid roof, no glass. Ooh, yeah, we might also be able to see up to the top. I mean, I don't know how many angles of pictures we have of those.
Here, take my let me present for a second again.
So
this is off.
I'm curious from the people that are on right now, would anyone have opted for a solid metal insulated roof? Oh. And Alex is saying, didn't the race truck lack glass? Are we talking about Pikes Peak, or are we talking about that off-road race that they recently did?
Open Wide's comment.
Oh, I missed it. Hold on.
He's still in the last. He's still in the last live stream catching up.
Yeah. Bless your heart.
Now you got me pulling images of the Pikes Peak truck. That's what I want to see. If those guys are right, it does look solid on the Pikes Peak truck. So the reason we're talking about this is because we're talking about the possibility of a competitor to the Cybertruck rear-wheel drive with a Rivian R1T rear-wheel drive. So I posted to social media earlier this week about it, about potentially being an option to compete with a Cybertruck. And then one of the cost-cutting measures I listed was, obviously single motor, springs, solid roof, yada yada yada. And so that's why we're on this topic to begin with, just to bring everyone up to speed. That is the reason we're looking at it, is like,
yes,
the complexity. So the complexity of it, of potentially adding another option, right? So if they didn't have a solid roof, they've got to design a solid roof. But if they already have it designed for the Pikes Peak truck, or they've got it for the Mevco or something else, then it's not nearly as complicated. So that's why we're on this topic, and just kind of spitballing ideas on it.
Yeah, and you know what though? I mean, with how they do, and granted, I don't know what all pieces come together and get welded, but with their current stamping, I mean, it's stamped with a hole right there. So do you just fill in that hole and weld it? I don't know. But yeah. It is interesting, and I will say that I would not mind having a solid roof. Living down here in Texas where it's hot, I do have a cover for my roof glass that I put up during the summer that still lets some light through, and you can see through it a bit, but yeah, I mean, early R1, I would have got the glass anyway. It's my first car that's had anything more than a sunroof, moonroof. But if I was to get one today, I might opt for a solid roof just due to practicality.
I like the option. I like the option of having a solid roof, but I would pick the glass, and I like the I wouldn't pay for it, but if I had a Trimax that had the what's it called, the privacy glass on it on the roof, or not the privacy glass,
electrochromic.
Yeah, if it had that, then I would be interested. And I'd actually, that's a whole different topic of why they chose the cheaper version of the glass, but I would probably do that. And just, if I want it darker, I would do it. But Rivian's version is not designed to kill heat, to be honest. I think someone did some tests that it does scatter a little bit of the light, so you do get a little bit of reduction in temperature in the cabin, but it's not, the version of their smart glass is not designed to reduce heat. There is glass, and it's much more expensive, that will do it, but Rivian did not for that, which is kind of strange, especially the price point it's at.
At one point in time, I believe that it was, well, and I'm trying to remember whether I heard this officially or unofficially, but the tinted glass roof reflected heat better than the electrochromic that they were intending to put in the R1s at first.
Yeah. I don't think they actually came out and said that. I think that might have been more inferred because of that. What did they say? It was like, what was that ridiculous SPF number that they had on the website at one point?
Yeah, that was like totally fake typo. Like, anyway,
9,000 SPF 9400.
Yeah, that might have been able to keep Jimmy from getting a sunburn. False.
I don't even know where you're going with that. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
so, would anybody be interested in a cheaper R1T or R1S? Like, if it was just rear-wheel drive? I know in the northern half of the country, probably not, right? Unless you're like, I don't know, crazy, or you're a snowbird and you're going to migrate south for the winter. And I can't see why I'd want a rear-wheel drive truck up in Indiana.
Yeah. Well, I like all-wheel drives, period.
Yeah.
So it would not be for me. I can see it being a good fit for a lot of people. Matter of fact, if I was to buy R1s for like fleet or company vehicles, I wouldn't, especially down here in Texas where we don't have to worry about ice and snow. Yeah, rear wheel drive all day long. Makes sense.
The other topic of a cheaper Rivian is that like it kind of spoils the brand, a premium brand with a less premium vehicle, right? Like the R1 is supposed to be their premium vehicle, and then they're gonna, and if they come out with a cheaper version with, let's say, cloth interior, no springs, who knows it, no wood, nothing powered, like maybe no power front, maybe no power door handles, power trunk, like manual trunk, everything could be manual. And does it spoil the brand by having a cheaper version?
I think they, especially with the R1S, need to be careful about how closely they're going to be competing with R2 down the line, because once you introduce a new model at a price point, that can have implications on models to come, right? You have to make sure that everything makes sense, which might be tough.
I don't even know if Rivian wants to do that for the simple fact that somebody that could be shopping an R1S, that person probably is also shopping EV9. I just brain farted what the Hyundai version is. But either way, like, you start taking away some of the stuff that EV9 definitely will have, then you're going to lose that. You could potentially lose that customer as well.
I absolutely would not put one of those in the showroom. I tell you that right now, like in one of the spaces.
Yeah, no, they'd be crazy too.
You would have to, like, I don't know somebody
Well,
to see one.
You know what though? I don't think with just a rear wheel drive, I don't think they'll be able to sell it without people driving it. Because if all you can drive is an all-wheel drive, I mean, unless like,
yeah,
I wouldn't buy rear wheel drive only without driving it.
Travis has got a good point here. I like that one.
Yeah, no, it is a good idea, other than the fact that I feel like Rivian needs to be moving more vehicles and finding a way to get price points down is one way. I mean, they're expanding their addressable market by offering models that are more affordable. And I think that would be a good thing for them to do in one way or another prior to R2. You just got to be careful with it.
I'll play devil's advocate on your topic of price points. Is that I'll argue that some of the R2 are probably going to reach R1 prices, and so
I
they
agree.
could just say, screw it. You know what? We're going to make a $50,000 Pro version of the R1, and to Travis's point in the chat, make it a fleet only vehicle, and it won't disturb the brand, but give people options. And I think that's something that RJ has been very, very frequently saying, is that more EVs, more options hits more consumers. And at a time when automakers in general are having a hard time selling vehicles because interest rates, they need to find creative ways to sell more vehicles, and this is one of them. I think is trying to compete with the Cybertruck. If the Cybertruck comes out with a $50,000 vehicle, rear-wheel drive, then I think Rivian would make sense to come out with a rear-wheel drive R1T to compete.
Yeah, no, I can see it. And Travis, the F-150 Lightning Pro is an interesting example. I went through and I decided that, and I would have bought it if I could have gotten it. There was the Pro with a couple specific options. They gave me everything that I want or needed, and then throw leather seat covers in there, and yeah, I would have been, I would have bought a Lightning Pro to have a full size electric truck if I could have gotten the one that I wanted.
Funny thing about like a Ford versus a Rivian versus a Cybertruck is they're three completely wildly different trucks, right? Like you have one that's an eyesore, but has some coolness to it with the steer-by-wire and the stainless steel. And then you have the Ford F-150, which is a full-size truck. I mean, I know it's still not really, doesn't have a huge bed, but it's still one of the bigger beds, and it's the gold standard for trucks in America. And then you have with the crappy infotainment, but then you have Rivian kind of in the middle with a smaller bed, not really truck, but more of a like, I occasionally want to haul some stuff and I want to do some cool things with it off road. So like every vehicle has its unique capabilities, which is interesting. And I'll even throw in the Silverado, for if you want to really tow something and go long distance, because it's got a ginormous battery pack in it.
A huge freaking battery pack.
Yeah, don't park that on the driveway if your driveway is not stable. It may damage it.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
The weight of, especially that dang what's the Hummer EV? That thing is 10,000 pounds or something, 11,000 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a beast. Yeah.
R2. Right, so what do you take, R2 or lean R1T? It depends on if you're actually going to use it to haul stuff. If you need to haul stuff, then R1T obviously, but like technology wise, you're going to get way more out of the R2. The steering wheel alone is going to sell that vehicle. I'm just telling you guys, it is going to sell that vehicle. They should put that steering wheel in every last space. Just put the steering wheel, the main display. Let people sit in and mess with those scroll wheels, and they'll sell tons of them.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at EV and Me's comment that a Maverick Lightning is more likely than an R2T. And a couple of comments there. Number one, I don't think that it's more likely than an R2T, because I think that Rivian is going to want to hit the small truck market internationally. But a Maverick Lightning would be pretty darn interesting. My brother, for the window company that he owns, they have a branded little Maverick, and it's a hybrid. And I'm not gonna lie, man, other than being like a little tiny truck, it's pretty nice. I mean, it's not bad at all. It rides nice, drives nice, like all the things. It has a decent amount of pep, but yeah, I mean, it gets crazy fuel economy. I mean, it's a pretty interesting little truck for that kind of use case. Driving around all over the place and light hauling.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the R2T is not coming anytime soon, and by that I mean never.
Really?
Yeah, I mean maybe in like 5-6 years or 7 years or something ridiculous. But look at the DOE loan, right? So they took $5,000-$6,000 and from the government, and they're building the facility in Georgia, right? And so everything is
billion, not thousand.
Sorry. Billion. $5 billion. $5 billion.
That's dodgy.
Yeah, that's dodgy. So anyways, they've got that loan, and they have to hit certain landmarks or milestones to deliver to meet the goals of that loan. And so their focus is twofold. Well, there's probably a third fold, but I don't know about that. There's the R2 in normal, right? They're going to bring that to production. We've been seeing RJ sharing pictures of lately, and so that's going to happen. That is their primary focus right now, is that. And then they have Georgia with the loan, and so there is going to be, as we've seen in the loan details, like R3 and R3X and R2 at some point there. And so those are like the three prototypes. I mean, there's common knowledge. Those are the three things they have in their their view for the next like 3 years, right? So the loan has to have something done with right by like 2028, or that's when the construction will be finished for the Georgia facility is 2028, and so that's when we'll probably see R3X is in 2028. So R2T maybe 2029, 2030, who knows? But if you're looking to buy an R2T, do not count on it for at least 3 to 5 years. So
Yeah. No,
they're focused.
I agree.
They have tunnel vision right now. R2 is a tunnel vision, and then the just outside the tunnel vision is R3X in Georgia.
Yep. 100%.
So if you're looking at an EV truck, your options are what we talked about earlier.
Yeah. So, something that I want to talk about. Look at Logan's comment from 851.
951
about Scout. 951 for you East Coasters. So, man, I think that for the masses, that EREV is the way to go. That will get people on the EV path, but still with the comfort of range and ability to fill up quickly, so on and so forth. And then they'll realize they don't need it. So I do have a Scout reservation.
I did too, but the Scout battery pack's like what, 150 miles, 120 miles or something. Like then the range extender is like 200 something miles of it, or I don't know. There's the range extender is the majority of the range on that thing, and it's like it just seems.
No, it's a 300-mile battery and a 200-mile range extender. It was like a 500. It was a
no. The battery in the EREV version is smaller than the BEV battery.
I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize. Yes.
So the range extender, the total range is much larger in the range extender, no doubt. But the actual battery use of that, the battery is teeny tiny. It's like a little LFP thing, and it's like 150. I'm gonna say 150 miles, and it's I don't know. I just don't like that.
Yeah, no.
LFP.
I reserve the battery only version. Like I'm not. I need to worry about changing oil and a little 1-cylinder.
You also have to potentially stir the gas or use some of the gas because if you never use the gas, then it's gonna go bad in there.
No, there's a lot of things that those of us that have an EV haven't had to do in years, and or those that want to get away from that need to consider that they don't.
But we already know and understand that. This is, I think that it's amazing because they're getting people in the EV boat, even though it's not a full battery EV. They're getting people in the EV boat. Those people will realize that they don't need that gas range extender. After they get used to it and they're like, hey, I drive less than 100 miles a day. I don't like going to the gas station anyway. It's much easier to charge at home, right? This will get people in the boat. And the fact that the majority of, I must have missed something funny.
Cordell got me laughing.
So the fact that a majority of their reservations are for the Harvester model speaks volumes.
Sure, but then once they realize they don't need it, and now they've got range, now they've got less range, or it's like, yeah, they're in the boat, but now there's a dead body that's not rowing with them anymore because they're not putting gas in the EREV side of it.
I don't like the double complexity, right? Like I have all these EV parts and I have these gas parts, and like Jimmy said, oil changes back to gas stations again. Back to potentially, going to a dealership to get stuff worked on. There's so many reasons I would shy away from something like that.
Yeah, and damn it, Alex, I'm not saying EREV is the way for everyone. It's the way to get people converted. A lot of people that wouldn't otherwise convert to EV, EREV is the way to get them to step into the EV boat. That's what I'm saying. Not the way it once you understand EVs and you're not scared of them and you understand them, like I don't think anybody is going to be buying E-Revs anymore, but E-Revs are good for right now to get people on the path.
Skylar, did you buy a Chevy Volt at some point?
No.
The OG E-Rev.
I don't buy dumb cars. A
You just-
Prius
you just
tried
did
to
a whole-
back
just did a
into
whole
me
pitch on
earlier.
E-Rev. You just did a whole pitch on E-Rev.
Hey. Hey. No, but it's also brilliant to do it with like a big tough SUV and or truck, right?
I get it for towing,
mean-
right? Like if you want to tow, diesel is the best way to tow.
Well,
Right. And so
Yep.
if the Harvester was diesel, that'd be hilarious, but I don't think it will be. Yeah, I still did a full electric. What's the truck? I can't think of the name of the truck. Terra. I did the full electric Terra Reservation. I shouldn't say that on a Rivian podcast that I did that. But in my defense, I have like every reservation you can imagine. I have an R2, I have a Cybertruck still. Yeah. And someday a dude.
so you know what? I got an email today. I get like regular monthly updates on a reservation that I placed a long time ago. I think it was 2021 for an off-road vehicle. Have you guys heard of the Vanderhall Brawley? Okay. They look amazing. And like they will actually, so 4-wheel steering, they'll actually do tank turn, like, but some of the initial deliveries have been happening and it's an absolute POS. And that is so
Really?
heartbreaking. And the reservations are non-refundable. So yeah, I found an owners group today because I was like, wait a second, dude, does anybody have these, right? So I just did a quick Google search and I found the owners group and there are some owners and those are crap. Nobody's happy. I mean, such a cool idea, but
Yeah.
apparently just terrible execution.
Interesting. Yeah, 'cause
Sorry.
that thing is gnarly.
Dude, wicked.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot you had one of those reserved or were interested in at one point.
I think I finally just found what Chris was laughing about from Cordell.
Yeah.
Cordell does entertain me. He had me going last time too, man. All right.
You're like 20 minutes behind.
Yes. Not
Yes,
3.
you are.
Wait, 3 minutes. I'm back to 3 minutes, man. Anyway,
You're the Internet Explorer of this chat.
dude.
I love busting your balls for that. Oh, balls.
Balls.
Freaking dome.
All right.
I'll probably get a R1T, and then we'll see how the Terra actually does in reality. Right? When's this supposed to come out? 2027 is when the Terra comes out. Is that when they're supposed to launch that Scout vehicle? When that happens, that's when
Yeah.
I'll be doing like a
That's
do
what
or
they
die
say
with
at least.
the R1T. I'll see, do I trade the R1T on that, or do I keep the R1T, or just trade it back in and get something else?
There you
Jesus.
go, Darren. That's the Brawley.
Oh,
Looks like a Jeep.
oh,
Kind of looks like a Jeep.
I thought Darren wanted to see the picture of your nephew.
No. Oh, you're an idiot.
I was about to say, like, hey, DM him, right? Something. Send it to him.
You're gonna get the FBI knocking at your door. Sending
Yeah, seriously.
pics like that around.
Dude. Baby picture. Well, part of it looks like a baby.
Oh, you're an idiot.
I am an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Always. Jeez. I'm not even drinking.
So Jody's asking when we're
Oh.
going to do when they're doing the next R1 line refresh. So that question is going to get interesting here pretty soon because last year the refresh started in April. They shut down the factory from the beginning of April to the end of April, and then that's when 2025 and the Gen 2 came out, and they announced Gen 2 on June 6th. So effectively, if last year repeats itself, we'll have hopefully model year 26, maybe in June, July is my guess. So
it's pretty early. I mean, but I guess with traditional automotive, I mean, they typically, the new model years hit the dealership lots late Q3, early Q4 typically. So they're manufactured before that and transported. So I mean that could make sense. I mean,
the
if Rivian's on the same type of schedule.
The other thing too is that it's been hanging over them for the past year since Gen 2 came out was the things they promised, quad and NACS, right? And so those two could also come with model year 26, and it would. I think NACS, the NACS port, is inevitable for 26 at this point. It's how they used. That's how they did a differentiator on the shop last year. Like if you wanted to be able to tell whether you had a Gen 2 vehicle or a Gen 1 vehicle, was they just did the model year. You pick 2025 and boom, you had all the Gen 2 vehicles you could buy. Yep. And so that's most likely how they will do the NACS port is they will just bundle it with 26. And if you want an NACS port, you buy a 26. And if you want a CCS port, you buy a 25 or 24 or 23, 22 used. And so I think those things are hanging over them, and they know that like there are vehicles like the Gravity, and there's some Hyundais and Kias now shipping with the port, and so I think there's even EV9s with them now, right? And so the rush is there. There is that perceived I need the Tesla supercharger port that the public has, and I know that's not what it's called, but that's what the public thinks is they need that port, and so Rivian I think is pressured to bring that sooner, and so that's why I think you will have another mid-year earlier than most automaker refreshes into 26 model year.
Yep. And so back-to-back comments from Darren B and Steven Jackson, I feel like are related at 6 after. So when will Rivian have a battery day? I would say they probably won't ever do a battery day like Tesla does battery days, but I do agree that they need to get to 800 volt. And I was actually hoping that was going to be for Gen 2. And I do know that RJ had said way back, I guess when they were in early development on the Enduro motor, that it was going to be a high voltage motor. And then it wasn't. Right.
Yeah.
Came out 400 volts. So we know they're looking at it. We know they're thinking about it. And that move to higher voltage should absolutely help with charging, because you're able to run the same amount of energy in at lower amperage, which means less heat. So hopefully you're going to be able to get, significantly better charging. I mean, if you look at, Hyundai, Kia, Porsche, any of the high voltage architectures typically charge fairly well.
But you look at like a smaller pack that's in a Model 3, a Model Y, and obviously now the R2 and R3. Those are smaller packs, but they could get away with a lower voltage pack. I know that's not what everyone wants to hear, but they can, assuming they can figure out how to cool it and slam the energy in efficiently, and so that it keeps a nice thick charging curve, right? And so if you can charge it fast, who cares how many volts it is, right?
Chris, is that charging curve thick with 2 C's?
Yes.
Thick charging curve.
Yes. Fat.
Hey,
with a pH.
There you go. I like it. All right.
Yeah. So and honestly, like the average consumer isn't going to give two shits about the charging curve. They just care how long they're going to be at a charger, right? So ultimately, if Rivian can get the amount of energy needed to go 250 miles in 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something reasonable, it doesn't really matter. Any of that stuff really matters. Just the impact to the consumer is what matters. And so if they're looking at their competition, the Model Y, looking at I'm going to say some of the Kias and Hyundais are the competition, but maybe not. And all they have to do is pitch whatever they're doing in a similar speed, similar time, and that's all that matters. Who cares if it's 450 or 800?
Yep.
Dude, Jose yells a lot. and so, Chris, are you originally from Iowa?
I am.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
Interesting.
Or you made me drink too much bourbon last time when you told me. I don't know. One of the two.
No, I've lived in most of the Midwest. Like I've lived in Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. So I know a lot of superchargers across this area.
So you know what? And somebody said, actually, I think it may have been my boy Alex that, yep, there we go. If you get NACS, you better start looking for a CCS adapter. And I don't know if I agree with that one. And the reason is, like, I'm headed for Tesla superchargers as my primaries on pretty much every trip. Like, and I don't think there's a trip where I need to use CCS. Alex is getting upset, isn't he?
No, never. No, I would have a CCS adapter if I had an export. I just pulled up, I think last weekend or weekend before last, like either way, pulled up to a Tesla supercharger. I was one of maybe two vehicles there, and I pulled a whopping 70 kilowatts. Like that, it was screaming fast. It's not the be all end all. Like, everybody thinks it's great, and it is good, and it has its moments. But you're gonna find that one charger, and you're gonna pull 70 kilowatts, and then by the time that you back up, and hopefully there's one next to you or one available, somebody's going to pull in and you're stuck. So you might want to have another option.
I'm one of those people that just buys adapters because I feel like I need one and I never use it. But so I do have a CCS adapter already. And funny thing is I have it in my Model S, and my Model S never was upgraded to the CCS capabilities. I just drive around with the adapter in there. That's because a bearded Tesla guy texted me one time. He's like, "Do you have a CCS adapter?" I'm like, holy shit, I don't have one. So I bought one. So I have one now. So if he ever comes by with a Cybertruck and needs it, I've got it.
So guess who is a dum-dum talking about carrying around adapters and things that you never need? Sometimes you do need them, and they're not where you need them. So I have a 30 amp RV to NEMA 1450 adapter, right? It typically stays in my RV because that's where I used it. But one day I decided to put it in the Rivian. Then we went on spring break last week or the week before or whatever.
Oh yeah.
There was only 30 amp at the freaking small town campground. Like everything in this city shut at 6. I realized at about 5:15, and the city's actually like 15 minutes away from the state park where we stayed. I realized at 5:15, the adapter is not in the RV. I'm like, that thing is in the freaking Rivian. And I'm like, where do I go? Right. And I called 2 different hardware stores, and one didn't have it. The other one, I called at like 5:58, and the guy stayed there until I got there to sell me a massively overpriced adapter that I had to have to be able to, plug in the RV and run the AC that night.
Did you tip him? Did you tip him something at least?
No.
No.
I guess. See, God, now you're making me feel guilty. I guess I should have. I mean,
you're already blowing money. Might as well give him another 20 or something. I don't know.
Dude, well, I didn't even think about that, but no, I mean that's well, it's like it's small town Texas, right? And that's why I called when I was on the way.
Yeah.
Well, I needed to know if he had it, but yeah, and I'm like, hey man, I will be there. And granted, it was only a couple minutes after closing, but yeah, I pulled up and he was like, you must be the guy that needs the adapter. I'm like, yes, sir, I am. So he unlocked the door, let me in. Yep. Took care of it.
Yep. Good old adapters. You're going to have them. I think, we talked about that, 4 weeks ago? Like adapters are going to be a thing. Whether you get it for CCS or whether you get it for NACS.
They're gonna have to go back to including adapters. I mean, they did that for 8 months or 9 months or something, and then they stopped in January. They're gonna have to go back to including adapters again, especially when the vehicles come out with the native port, right? Like they're gonna need two different wall chargers, right? Or maybe they come with the universal. And they're going to need adapters for their own network, which is dumb. And then obviously, if you want to charge on CCS and outside of the RAN, you need one.
Yeah, to the point you just made, though, they're, and I understand why they're doing it, but they're swapping out perfectly good version 1 RAN stations for version 1.5 just to get other EVs in there, instead of expanding on their network, which I find slightly irritating.
And charging way too much for
it. Right. So let's not expand the network. Let's update it with ridiculous pricing. And what are they doing with the version 1s?
Decom. I should ask them if I could have one. You see those people that have those supercharger decoms in their houses? I wonder if I get one. That'd be cool as hell to have in my garage.
Yeah, Logan, but you still there was nothing wrong with those chargers. It's not like they're getting any faster. They're still 300 kilowatts max. So why not expand the network that you have with the stations that you have, instead of swapping out perfectly good stations for ones that exactly, Alex. Yes.
Yeah, just so people that are familiar, the 1.5s allow them to open it to other EV makers to charge there. That's why they're swapped to 1.5, as the version 1s do not charge anything but Rivian. The 1.5s do, and so the more 1.5s they put in, potentially more customers they can pay their obscene prices for RAN charging, which is a turnoff in itself, right? Like I would just go to a supercharger 9 times out of 10.
Correct. Yeah, they pretty much. I know both Georgia locations have now swapped. I can only imagine that Daytona is going to be next here in the next few weeks, if not maybe a month or two, and it'll be swapped over. But Augusta, which was the first, I think Augusta was the first RAN on the East Coast, it's already swapped. Savannah's already swapped, or Pooler, excuse me. And then I think that was the reason why Chipley took so long to come online, almost a year from construction to turn on, was because it started as a V1 and then they made it a 1.5.
40 chess.
Yeah.
They know something we don't know. They know people are out there that want to pay 65 cents a kilowatt. They're paying people to park in ICE superchargers so that you have to use RAN.
There you go.
Hey, Jimmy. I meant to say this way earlier, but I did wear my yellow compass shirt for you today.
Oh, nice, dude. That's a sharp looking shirt.
Where'd you
Yellow
get that
compass.
one? Where'd you get it?
Yellow compass.
Canyon Red.
Oh,
I have my blue Rivian on.
Jimmy's about to leave.
Actually, I do have
and
to leave here soon.
I know. Actually, I do too. And I just noticed myself like reaching with my right arm over to my left ear. And there actually is a good reason for that. So I cannot reach my left ear with my left arm because I've got a bad elbow. So yeah, yeah, dude, my elbow, that's as far as my elbow bends.
I know. That's not a bad elbow, man. Like, that was a catastrophic accident, dude.
Yeah, it's like destroyed. But yeah, people are like wondering I'm messing with my in-ears, but I have to use my right hand for my left ear.
No, you're just slightly
People are like, does Skylar have Tourette's or something? Like, sometimes I might. I don't know.
He keeps saying balls out of nowhere, and so
balls
crossed my mind.
Jeez. Okay. Goodness. All right. What else we got, guys? Anything else? But before we wrap up,
we need to talk tires at some point, man.
Yes, we do. And I want people to put in the comments what questions you have about tires or what tires you're curious about, something like that. Alex is gonna give me like some kind of grabber or something. I don't know. I don't even know what that would be. Like, hey, Alex, I can drink White Claw with my left hand. I just can't like touch the side of my face. I could do it with the back of my hand. Anyway,
so not if the tires are made in. I mean, there's a lot of tires that are made in the United States, unless the rubber's coming from out of the country. But Toyo,
Michelin, Cooper.
Toyo.
I mean, there's
Michelin's not made domestically.
You said Michelin? A lot of the Michelins are.
Okay, because my R1S's tires are going to probably be due in the next 6 to 12 months, and so like I've been I have the 21, so I have one option outside of the stupid Pirellis, and so I'm going with the one option.
Yeah, I'm.
Ooh, sorry, I was reading comments. It would be really interesting for us to talk about the also announcement. We
also
traded some texts about it, but yeah, the micro mobility. Because that could be pretty cool too.
I mean, and I did a whole pitch on why they could make the e-bike charge on the back and the R2, and they killed off the reports.
Yeah, and Jody, I think mountain bike will be the first thing released because we heard a long time ago that they were working on that.
Yeah.
If you go on LinkedIn, there's like all these also employees that are actually like touting that they're also employees now. They're like, oh, I haven't been able to say what I'm working on for the last 3 years. Now I can. And so that if you go out to LinkedIn, you can find some stuff.
Dude, 3 years?
Something like that. It's 2-3 years. Some of these people have been working on this, like what they call it?
Then
like penguin. I can't think of what they call the actual term. Like a shadow project.
So then like there's going to be
pangolin or something like that.
I have no idea.
Like an anteater type thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where I was going, Greg. Must be a line, a significant line of products.
Yeah.
The bad news, or maybe it's the good news, is it'll sound better. The speaker system on the bike will be better than the R1.
Yeah. See.
Ooh. Yikes.
They better fix that speaker system with Gen whatever 20 model year 26. They better fix something. They got to get whoever's in there and fix it.
over the Gen 2 R1.
Yeah. Like actually get somebody in there and actually a real audio engineer in there and tune the hell out of it or put better speakers in or whatever it takes. Fix the problem.
Yeah.
Whoever they hired is who made my 46 computer speakers back in 1998. The ones that let you know when you had a phone call coming in.
Oh, because of the interference. Yes. I was like, dude, who was getting calls on their computer in 1998?
I was hoping somebody would get the reference.
I completely forgot about that, but you're not wrong, dude. All of a sudden, your speakers would go.
And you're like, oh, the call is coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Here it goes. Yeah.
These signals must be great for my brain.
God, we're old farts. We were just absolutely ancient farts.
Dude, totally forgot about that. That's hilarious.
Dude.
So true.
Those are the guys that made the speakers in R1. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Creative, bro.
What a flashback, bro.
Creative. The Sound Blaster guys are making Rivian systems. maybe they also did the infotainment Gen 1 with the Voodoo 3D guys are in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, it's a super sweet analog ISA card. How about that?
Dang it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to talk about tires, dude.
Okay.
Yeah,
we can talk about tires. Let's talk about micro mobility.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do. I don't know. We got some stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, hire the stereo guy from Tesla.
They could even get the third rate one and still be better. That guy wants 500,000. Get the guy that wants like 50K. He's probably just a little bit better. Better than what we got.
Dang it.
Sorry if the engineer is listening. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It's not really, but I'm sorry.
Oh my. Yeah, no, it's past Jimmy's bedtime. Jimmy gets up at like 4 a.m, and he has a big day tomorrow. So we were supposed to keep this one short, and we failed.
That's fine. It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
I have a Rivian appointment first, and then I've got to be home and prepped and ready to go for a job interview. So,
Hope your boss isn't watching.
I don't think he watches. I hope not. I haven't told him yet.
Nice, wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, now the internet knows Jimmy. Great work.
Exactly. All right. Well, yeah. Enjoy. It was great seeing everybody.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks everybody for joining. Take care. Good night, guys.